This is Average Sports.
By average guys.
Eric.
And Ty. That would be so bad.
Yeah. This is Average Sports.
Your average sports.
Average Sports.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of
You're listening to Average Sports with your average guys.
Average Sports, average guys, Eric and Ty.
Season 3 chugging along in 2020. Welcome to another edition of Average Sports.
By your average guys.
Oh,
Eric and Ty.
that's right.
Here.
Way to pick me up there, guy.
Yeah, man. I was paying attention.
That's Eric.
Kind of.
I'm Ty. Glad to have you guys tuning in here. It is another episode. It's episode 3 of season 3. And so glad to have you guys tuning in here. We have a good one in store for you as we are, in the second week of February?
Yeah.
As we're recording this. So this is kind of that odd time of year where sports seem to take a dip a little bit. It's a little quiet in the sports universe.
Yeah.
But it's also an exciting time.
It's quiet, but starting to pick
Right.
up because what happened today?
What did happen today?
Oh, I thought
on,
you were
Eric.
paying attention.
I half the time.
Pitchers and catchers reported down to Florida
It's already time.
Arizona,
Yeah, right.
wherever they may be.
Grapefruit, cactus, whatever. Wherever,
Yep.
whichever team you're on. That
Yeah,
is
they
exciting,
reported.
Eric. Yeah, all right.
So that's super exciting.
that is
And then,
exciting. Spring training is right around the corner.
Yeah.
And you know what else happened, though? Eric, you and I watched one of these games together, week 1.
Week 1,
You've been stoked.
XFL
Yeah.
kicked off with massive success. They had huge ratings. Now, I mean, it's not on the NFL level, but they had pretty large ratings as an overall for what they, I think, were expecting. One of the big things to note was that each of the stadiums had 17,000 plus fans in them. It wasn't complete sellout of like the lower bowls of most of these stadiums, but 17,000 to 18,000 fans in a stadium is pretty good.
I
for
have
the
to say,
kickoff of the
I
league.
was impressed with like the genuine appeal. It wasn't just this sideshow or mockery of the sport like the original XFL was.
It seemed
so
very
far
gimmicky back in 2000.
Very gimmicky.
Yeah.
Now the football does still have that big old X on the ends of it.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about that, but whatever.
Yeah,
put that
I mean,
aside.
that seems minor.
They had
but
a really good week 1.
They did. It was really good football, especially I thought for the first like 3 quarters. You could definitely tell in the fourth quarter maybe some conditioning that these guys clearly aren't on the NFL level.
Really good point, yeah. But however, think about the relationship of the salaries, and you'll understand that fourth quarter, sure, things are going to fall apart a little bit.
I mean, none of them are making, I think, over $100,000.
Average salary is $55K as a player.
$55K. I mean, that's still a decent salary, but
sure. But to be a professional athlete,
be a professional athlete,
getting their butt kicked,
is not on the same level. So
at all. But we're looking at some good talent and some like this has a legitimate case of being like an addition to the NFL farm system or just its own legitimate league if it gets enough traction.
I think the different rule changes are really cool too. My favorite is the
point conversion.
The point conversion.
Yeah.
No PATs. We already talked about my disdain for kickers a couple weeks ago. It seems a bit fabricated in your end. I don't hate kickers. I just don't want a kicker
you hate
shootout.
kickers.
I don't want a kicker shootout. Oh my God. We're not going back there.
All right, no. We're already spending too much time in the XFL.
Going for 1, 2, or 3 points from
that was cool.
the 2, the 5, or the 10. I think that's super cool.
All right. What else is happening? I picked up some USA rugby, dude. Have you seen some Team USA rugby in a while?
No.
Have you ever watched rugby in your life?
Yeah. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. I watched the World Cup of rugby.
Oh, okay.
South Africa.
Okay. Well, still, this was the Sydney Sevens was going on. Team USA, man, looked sharp. I got to watch a couple of their matches, and that was just...
It's a fun game to watch.
It was a really fun game to watch.
It's a lot of fun. I watched a lot of it, actually, when I was in New Zealand. That's a big sport down there.
Of course.
Back in 2009, a long time ago. But I watched it, national teams, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, like those are big powerhouse rugby countries. So it was a lot of fun to watch and kind of get to learn the game.
They went on a tear, though, in just the first day of February. They scored against Japan and Australia combined 88 points to 7. That's how good they were feeling it.
That's awesome.
Against, well, Japan, which I don't know if they're a stronghold for the sport, but
really.
Australia,
as far as I know,
was the team
Australia
they had to beat to advance to the Cup semifinals. They lost to South Africa, but beat England 17-10 for a bronze finish.
That's awesome.
And I think that either that win qualified them, or just recently they had qualified anyway to go to the 2020 Olympics. So congrats,
fantastic
to the American Eagles. Good job, mate.
Yeah.
All right. That's my accent, and that's the last time that's coming out today.
Okay.
As well.
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I had one more thing just to point out. Jay Bomeister of the St. Louis Blues. That was a big story a couple nights ago. The team was in Anaheim playing a game, and after a shift with 7:50 left in the first, he collapsed on the bench next to his teammate Vince Dunn and in front of their captain Alex Pietrangelo. I just want to call out the medical team on not only the Blues, but the Anaheim Ducks were incredibly quick on the draw. They essentially saved his life because they did have to use a defibrillator to resuscitate him, and he did essentially have a heart attack. So he's
we wish
awake
him
and
a
alert,
speedy
but,
recovery. And
that's definitely a big story that kind of happened.
They had to postpone the game.
They did.
It was a major.
Yeah, we still don't have a makeup date for it. The players left the ice. They announced shortly after that they were making the game up. So the next Blues game is actually tonight in Vegas, and they are planning on playing that game tonight. So
yeah. Well, again, shout out to Bomeister just for a speedy recovery, just on his general health, whether he gets to play the game or not. And
agreed.
I hope he can. But
happy speedy recovery. To him. So
we didn't talk about a butthole in sports right now. Just real quick, our butthole this week. Yeah, we always got to kick it off, but that's all right. We'll sneak it in, and just like the way it just is snuck into some sports headlines. Are the Olympics going to happen? Is Tokyo still going to have the Olympics due to the coronavirus? Well, anyone who's asking those questions and the coronavirus itself, that's the butthole. Stop it.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're going to have the Olympics. We're going to
have the Olympics.
It'll happen.
And
so anyone who's even raising that question, that's why you listen to the show. We are going to reassure you.
We're going to break the coronavirus news.
Yeah, we're going to break it.
Oh, God. Right. Don't come to us for that.
Well,
go to the World Health Organization.
All signs point to the fact that Tokyo has every intention of still continuing.
I think so, too.
The Olympics. So anyway. And more news to come with that as the coming months as we get closer to that in August. Let's jump into our topic because we have a good one to talk about. 2020, you had mentioned that winter camps, the pitchers and catchers have been reporting down to their southern warmer states of the country. What are we going to talk about, though? MLB. New change.
Baseball.
New rules change,
We got
baby.
rule change for pitchers.
Some exciting ones.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll break it down. I think it's really interesting.
Well, tell me about it. Tell me about the rule change and your thoughts.
Okay. Well, the one I really only understand at this time, the major one, is that if you have a relief pitcher, no pitcher is coming in during the game and can face fewer than 3 batters. They are stuck. They are in it.
For 3 batters, with the exception of or the end of an inning.
Yeah. Okay. Or an end of an inning.
End of an inning.
Thank you. Okay.
And then, of course, injury, gets sick, whatever.
Right. I would be more curious to see how does that play out if you're out there and you're just getting rocked, like you just can't get an out to save your life. Can you get pulled? Or you got to see. Well, you got to see 3 batters. Got to see three.
You got to get rocked 3 times. Boom, boom, boom.
All right. I think that's very fair. First of all, and one thing that does irk me. And when a pitcher's out there, they're brought in as a specialty pitcher. Cool, great. They're lefty on the lefty matchup. And then one pitch, they're done. That guy's walking off the mound. That guy's job is done. I gotta watch the same list of commercials.
Then you gotta watch the next 2.5 minutes on commercials.
Yeah, I hate that.
And
it just gets me the wrong. As a viewer, that is the quickest way to lose some interest on, okay, this game's really not moving very long, like very well.
Yeah.
I want to see a pitching change with more the idea that we're here for the long haul, not just as one individual batter. Like, we're here to get out of this inning. not get so granular.
So there's a couple things that you mentioned there. Obviously, okay. I was shocked when I brought this up to you that you, the baseball truther, that's all about the unwritten rules of baseball and all that garbage.
Sure.
That you were okay with this because it really reduces the strategy, especially in the National League. And you being a Cardinals fan, I'm shocked by that because you grew up in the whole quote-unquote whitey ball era of strategy and base running and blah, blah, blah. And this is very much geared towards American League teams. It's very much geared to, who have that designated hitter, who are typically more offensively minded. Not that National League teams aren't, but the AL teams definitely are more the mashers. And this seems to be more of definitely gearing towards the offense, but also taking away some of that strategy of being a manager. What are your thoughts there? And then the second point I wanted to bring up was age, but let's start with that.
Age, what, of the player or?
Well, age of the fan. I'm going to get to that topic in a second.
Okay, yeah, you have an interesting stat there, don't you? When it comes to the strategy of just getting to plug a pitcher in for one batter, and then even, let's say they're coming in and the first or second pitch, it's a base hit or a home run, and that pitcher is still pulled. He didn't do his job. Again, I'm just eye rolling like that. Well, that didn't pay off, and you're just kind of frustrated out of it. Whether it's your team that was successful or not, I want to see a little bit more life out of a player who dressed that day to get the ball more than 2 or 3 times. And that guy is a professional. He should be able to come out and get an out.
Yeah, you just want to see play continue, it sounds like.
Play continue with more... Yeah, with an actual... with the players that are on the field.
Okay. I mean, I'm personally okay with the rule change. I was just surprised that you would be being such a baseball truther.
It's really because it comes down to being such a that it will eliminate that risk of one pitch and great, you did your job, you're done tonight.
Fair enough.
You can't pitch again. I would actually be more of a fan if someone could come in and pitch and then come back in later in the game and pitch.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
That would be interesting to me.
Ooh, injury may be
sure. That would be a concern. I understand
that'd be
that.
Interesting.
But I would rather that be an option as opposed to you went out for one pitch, great job. And I just hate seeing it. It just, it's hard to really.
In fairness, the Kansas City Royals won a World Series based on doing exactly this. They manipulated their bullpen so well that if they could get through their starter, you got to halfway through the 5th, but really got to the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning. You weren't scoring on the Royals in, I think it was 2016.
And that's what it's about, right? If you can get past your opponent's starting rotation, if that's what's solid, if you can get in their bullpen where you feel like you have more of an advantage, I can totally understand that. Or if your strength is in your bullpen, that no one's getting hits off of your squad, that you can just throw weapon after weapon, and without depleting to the point you have to throw in an outfielder or something to get you out of an inning.
That was another rule change too, is position players cannot pitch until extra innings.
Whoa.
Or you've run out of pitchers.
Wow.
So if you've physically run out of pitchers, then obviously someone will have to pitch. But if it's a blowout game or something like that, a position player cannot pitch.
Yeah.
So
the game is certainly changing, and to make it more of a challenge on the pitcher, we'll see how it shapes up for 2020. What's this deal about age?
Yeah, so that was the second thing that you brought up, and I think that this rule also gears towards more younger fans because it wants to keep the game in front of their fans.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things, and we're going to talk about it on the second half of this topic here, is the average age of the MLB fan is 57. Which is significantly higher than any other sport out there. It's 7 years older than the average fan of the NFL, which is 50, 49 for the NHL, and 42 for the NBA, which that doesn't surprise me at all. I'm actually surprised it's not a little bit lower.
It kind of begs the question, where are those fans going? Are they watching another major sport? Or are they watching soccer, which has been growing? Or are they
shifting to a soccer? Or they're shifting to basketball?
Or is it
younger
esports?
Fans? younger fans are very much attracted to basketball, the speed of the game, and the fact that it's always consistent. You know, that a younger generation wants more action, wants more stuff happening. They're not willing to wait for it. So,
including in the rest of this topic, you have something else to talk about.